We're 2 months into the season, but we're just getting started here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Use promo code ROTOPOD for a 100% deposit match. I'm your host, Clay Link of RotoWire.com, here with FSWA Hall of Famer Todd Zola. Always great to be talking baseball with you, Todd. Happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
To you. As I said, about 2 months into the season, about a third of the way, but a long way to go still. So we, as always, here on Friday are going to do our best to, help your fantasy team and help get you on the right track. What's up with you today, man?
It's that awkward time, right, where it's still early, but it's not still early.
It feels like we're deep into it, but 4 months is still a long way.
Yeah, it's time to take stock of our clubs, but there's still a lot of variance. There's still a lot of, if you got Ranger Suarez, you're leading your league, but you can't count on Ranger Suarez to continue at his pace, right? If you got Freddie Freeman, you're not doing well, but he's going to get better, right? So, yeah, there's still plenty of time for changes.
It's been a disappointing fantasy season so far for me, just waiting on, guys like Austin Riley and Vladdy. I guess Vladdy's been okay, but, Riley's been out for 10 days now.
Well,
and just had the slow start and just kind of a frustrating season in real life and for my team in real life, the Reds. So fantasy and reality, not so great.
The thing with Riley, as I'm sure most people know, is you said 10 days. It hasn't been a 10-day IL stint.
No. He's been day-to-day for 10 days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I have him in the XFL, so I don't think I don't remember what I did. But the point being, I mean, he's so good. You want him in your lineup, so you probably had him in on Sunday, and then come Thursday, well, there's some good news. So, and he's been getting zeros for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's that day-to-day for that long of a stretch is so frustrating. It's just like, make the IL move. But, of course, the team would ideally, throughout that time was ideally hoping to have him back quicker. But
right.
In retrospect, yeah, it would have been nice if they'd made a move. And, I don't really watch the Pat McAfee show much, but it was on here in the office this week. And Kirk Herbstreit was on talking about the new college football video game, but they were talking about the Reds and they're just taking a beating, the Reds. They're the laughing stock of baseball, I guess. And just the disappointment given the raised expectations, elevated expectations for that team coming in. But still struggling and really struggling on offense lately.
Laughing stock? Are they aware of the White Sox? Are they aware?
The Rockies? Yeah. That's a good point. They were just really – I think Kirk Herbstreit's like a real diehard Reds fan. So
he is, and McAfee's from Indiana, which is close enough to Cincinnati. So anyway,
they were really laying it in, but who knows? We'll wait and see what happens the rest of the way. But in the stake league, Todd, top pickup Jake Meyers at $6, the top pickup this week. Arbitrary endpoint warning here, but last 15 games for Jake Meyers of Houston. 385 average, 448 on base, 596 slug with a couple homers, couple steals. He did show a little power speed combo last year with some, 10 homers and 5 bags, but only 341 plate appearances. Is this run going to push him into meaningful playing time, or do you still see him as a part-time player, Jake Meyers?
I don't know who else. It was Mauricio Dubon that was splitting with him, but now he's splitting with Chas McCormick, who, talk about disappointments. So is Pedro Leon still a thing? I don't know if he is or not. I still have him on my projections, so once in a while I do take a look, but he hasn't progressed nearly as well as than he had hoped. But, I mean, Meyers has got the job, and right now you sort by 3 weeks. He's crushed it, as you mentioned. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like tracing streaks, but the playing time is there. And he's hitting in the middle third, shall we say, of the Astros' pretty potent lineup.
Yeah, and Joey Loperfito's hitting okay, but he still can't find his way into everyday playing time. So there's some shuffling going on here, but Meyers, a little bit of power, a little bit of speed, and I certainly get the appeal there with a guy like Meyers if he does continue to play.
Let me answer my own question. Pedro Leon is 305, 384, 575 with AAA Sugarland, 10 homers, 51 RBI. He's crushing it. So I don't know. We do have. I think we break it up into positions and not just outfield to find out where Leon's playing. But yeah, that's I guess a name. Yeah, 26 games in center field, 13 in right. So Meyers is going to have to continue to hit in order, or else we may see some Pedro Leon hype later in the season.
Well, I mentioned Happy Memorial Day weekend. I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention that it's James Anderson Top 400 release day. So
yes,
happy new Top 400 update to those who celebrate. Definitely check that out. RotoWire.com/pod for a trial. Check out all of our work. But James really leads the industry with his prospect work, and so we're very happy to have a new Top 400 update. Back to pickups from the Stake League last night. Jake Bauers at 5. I guess I still kind of have that quad A thing in mind with Bauers, but if you need it, I get that he's at least plays a little bit. Todd, Mark Vientos seems to have taken over at third base for the Mets. Brett Beatty's kind of played his way out of that spot, so Vientos has been getting the starts at third base there. How are you feeling about Vientos? Is he a guy that you consider adding to your fantasy teams? He's been swinging a hot bat.
You mentioned both Bauer and Vientos. Corner infield has been hard to fill this year. Surprisingly hard.
Yeah.
I wonder, but outfield, more available. I wonder if some people that are qualified at first base, third base, and outfield are being used in the outfield, which is taking away from the cornerman inventory and strengthening the outfield because there's fewer outfielders that are outfield only that are actually playing the outfield. But anyway, I don't know. Citi Field is not the greatest place to hit. To hit, the lineup isn't that great. I think in a deeper format, maybe I'm okay with Vientos, but I'm not jumping out to get him. The one thing I will say, I don't think we can, at this point, I don't know that we can say until Beatty shows signs of life, then Vientos is gone, because Beatty's had a chance, and he's just done nothing.
Yeah, he impressed with the glove, but offensively,
yeah,
chipped in next to nothing. So yeah, I think that pickup speaks to what you said about just corner being so hard to fill. It's not like the person who grabbed Vientos broke the bank at $3 out of 100, but he could be kind of just end up getting dropped in 3 weeks. I could totally see that. Tough to find those guys right now who are helping offensively. I think I've been finding some pickups on the pitching side here and there, but maybe partly due to a new ball in play. It seems like offense has been really hard to find on the waiver wire. Matt Waldron at $2. I love that knuckleball he throws. One of the only knuckleballs you see, but definitely a streamer. And then Ben Brown into the Chicago Cubs rotation. 4 innings yesterday. Bumped Kyle Hendricks from the rotation. So, he was actually a $0 ad. I think I dropped him in this league. So I think that's a pretty sneaky pickup this week, Ben Brown, even if he's not fully stretched out yet.
Right. 4 innings. Shouldn't be too much longer before fully stretched out. And he was starting earlier in the year. So, no, I like that. And good on the Cubs for not, treating Hendricks with the veteran respect. He has been horrible. Matter of fact, he was pretty horrible in relief the other day. Was it against the Rockies, I believe? So allowing the Rockies to either come back or put away the game late. So, yeah, I understand Ben Brown. If he's still available, like he was in your stake league, sure, which is a little surprising because you can make some stashes. But the Cubs, Wrigley Field's going to shrink soon once it continues to be warm. So that's the other concern, or another concern with Ben Brown.
Yeah, very true. Then a guy not picked up actually in the stake league, but he was picked up in another league I'm in. And the more I looked into him, kind of interesting. Jonathan Aranda of the Rays. And I say that not because of what he's done on the field so far this season, but Aranda's playing a lot for the Rays. Actually, 4 straight starts coming into today. 3 of those at DH, 1 at first base, regularly batting 4 through 6 for the Rays. And well, he hasn't done much on the field this season. At AAA last year, he had 25 homers, hit .339. So, hey, a 4 through 6 hitter like that, I think a big reason why he's not rostered in the stake league is because I believe he's still UT only in a lot of leagues. But Aranda, I feel like, is a guy who is flying under the radar a little bit just because given the numbers this year aren't so hot.
Right. He has that Isaac Paredes vibe to me in that doesn't look that good, but the Rays seem to find the magic potion at times. Hasn't Aranda's been playing a lot of DH. How Ramirez has fallen out of favor. And when you're the DH and you're falling out of favor, the next stop is the bench, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's where Aranda's getting some of his playing time. Ramirez hasn't played in the last 4 games. So yeah, playing time is paramount. Aranda seems to be getting it. I don't know what he'll turn into, but he is playing. He's eligible at a couple different places now, I think. Let's see.
Last I was looking,
it's just outfield. It's just outfield. No, DH. Aranda's DH only.
He is still DH only, I believe.
No, 5 game rules, he's now outfield. And that rule book is 5. Tout Wars is 5, Labor's 5, NFBC is 10. So just know thy rules.
Already rostered in the stake league, but Luis Matos has been a hot pickup lately, and I've been impressed with Mason Wynn. I love that arm, but offensively he's kind of picked it up. So you're not a huge needle mover, I don't suspect, but the guy probably should be rostered in most leagues. Alec Burleson getting some love too.
He's standing out. Wynn is on a team of some disappointments. He's overachieving what we thought. So he's kind of standing on that regard. And he's running a little bit, like you mentioned. It's not just the arm. He's got a slick glove too. I caught him a series against the Red Sox, St. Louis against the Red Sox earlier this week, and very impressed with the glove work.
Well, before we move on, we will bring you a quick word from one of our sponsors, So Rare. Have you ever dreamed of stepping into the shoes of a general manager? Welcome to So Rare MLB, a groundbreaking fantasy baseball game where you call the shots. Take charge and make your managerial mark by collecting officially licensed digital player cards of your favorite MLB stars. They aren't just any cards. They're your ticket to compete for over $1 million in total cash rewards and other amazing prizes. Imagine winning VIP tickets to the MLB All-Star Game 2024 or getting your hands on signed merchandise from top MLB players. Here's how it works. Use your cards to set your lineup each game week. Real-world plays like hits, strikeouts, and homers will power your team's performance. Climb the leaderboards and snag weekly wins, from cash prizes to more cards and unforgettable experiences. But there's more. Build an iconic collection of your favorite teams and players to unlock gameplay bonuses and exclusive rewards. The rarer the card, the higher your score and the bigger your edge in competitions. And when you're ready to trade, the So Rare Marketplace offers a vibrant community of managers. Engage in live auctions, make instant buys, or trade cards peer-to-peer. Starting is absolutely free. Draft your first team of common cards today and feel the thrill of competition as you climb the ranks to baseball mastery. What are you waiting for? Join So Rare MLB today. Transform your passion for baseball into a quest for glory and get rewarded for your baseball savvy. Sign up today with the link in the description. Get 50% off your first Pro cards up to $50. It's your passion rewarded. We appreciate their sponsorship, of course. And Todd, we'll get into the 2-star pitchers for next week unless you got anything else pressing on your mind.
Now, just laughing a little bit when you're reading the So Rare ad. I played last year. I haven't had the time this year, but I keep getting trade offers for my Ketel Marte card. They don't know. They don't know that if I'm going to keep one card, it's Ketel. So, but anyway, that's why I was kind of giggling a little bit. It was fun when I played last year. I just didn't have I don't have the bandwidth. Maybe I can get back in the second half.
You got to put your Cole Calhoun card in a digital top loader or something.
Yeah, I got to trade for a Cole Calhoun card. Anyway, Bailey Ober. But anyway.
Well, yeah, I definitely recommend checking them out. And yeah, it's Memorial Day week already, weekend, and Monday, of course, Memorial Day. So we're looking ahead to the 2-star pitchers for the week of May 27th, 2024 already. And Ryan Nelson kicks things off. Good outing his last time out, actually. Shut out the Dodgers over 5. But before that, he'd given up 8 earned runs against the Tigers at home. So Jekyll and Hyde lately for Ryan Nelson. ERA at 6.03. He's at Texas, then at the Mets. The Rangers have been disappointing off the World Series, but I still can't trust Ryan Nelson. I'm going to give him a 0.
Before that, I'll only say this once, and I'm sure it'll come up when I'm on with Jeff over the weekend. Why aren't there full slate on Monday? Why isn't there?
Oh, there isn't? I hadn't looked ahead. Not a full slate, huh?
On Memorial Day itself, there's just not a full slate. All right. Anyway, that's just the way it is. I'm not trusting Nelson either. There's too many Nelsons to keep track of, so I don't trust any of them. Well, that's not true. But no, I'm with you. I too inconsistent for me. Both on away games, good places to pitch, but not worth it.
Well, what about Charlie Morton? He's home against Washington, then versus Oakland. It's a pretty nice little 2-step for old Chucky. Freed's going to be a 5. I mean, Fried, since those first couple starts of the year,
he'd be a 6.
Yeah, no kidding. Since those first couple starts of the year, he's pitched like really the best starter in Major League Baseball. So he's going to be a 5. Yeah. But Charlie Morton, I think Charlie's probably a 4.
To me, he's a 3 pitcher with 5 matchups. So I'm going 4.
Yeah, I think we had a trade question about Fried early on, and if you bought low, I mean, good on you, and if you sold low, shame on you. Hopefully you learned the lesson.
Drafting you drafted him at a little bit of a discount too. You kind of drafted low because he came in hurt, right? Didn't he?
I think he did have something in spring training. Yeah, I believe you're right there. For Baltimore, Cole Irvin.
We're assuming.
Yeah, he's kind of been in and out of that rotation, hasn't he? But they just lost John Means. That's unfortunate.
Right.
So John Means had just returned not long ago. Made 4 starts, and now he's on the IL with more forearm issues. So tough for him. I think that elbow and forearm had been the issue coming into the season, and now out indefinitely with more forearm issues, a strained forearm, in fact, for Means. So that creates the opening for Irvin versus Boston versus Tampa Bay. And he's pitched pretty well when given the opportunity in the rotation this year. So I'm leaning 2, but what say you?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not a 0. How much above that am I going to go? Because both Boston and Tampa Bay on paper are not going to rate really well, but you're kind of like, they both can go off. So I agree with the 2. We'll disagree, but I'm going to go with it. Here we're going to agree. I'm going to go 2.
Well, going up against Irvin on Monday tentatively is Cooper Criswell for the Red Sox, and it seems like Garrett Whitlock's he's kind of in that Means bucket where not looking good.
Right.
For Whitlock. So Criswell's in here. Did they lose another starter recently?
I don't think so. I think you got some guys back, actually. Bayo came back.
Bayo came back. That's right. Yeah. Well, Criswell getting that opportunity. I sat Lance Lynn against Baltimore, and he pitched a gem. I still am pretty scared for Criswell, even though it's at Baltimore then versus Detroit. Pretty good matchups.
But I know this is one of those kind of a conundrum that I have. I'm sure a lot of people have. The Baltimore Orioles have the 21st highest, which means the 9th worst WOBA versus right-handed pitching.
Really?
But I'm still scared,
Yeah, that surprises me, but
yeah, exactly.
It checks out.
It's just, and I've done research on it because from my pitching rankings in DFS, what's the ideal look back to figure out how a team's hitting? The answer is I don't think there is one. Too short and its variance, too long and it's a different lineup and change and turnover. So I don't know that I'm sure Vegas has got some way to look at it, but it's just setting lines, etc. But I've never been able to really say, all right, I'm looking at the previous 5 weeks. I don't know what the number is to judge how a team is hitting at the time. So I've seen enough of Criswell that I'm gonna go 2 because of Detroit, the Detroit outing in there, and it's in Baltimore, which is better than in Fenway, at least for pitching parks go. So I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah, I lean that way as well. Don't feel great about it, but I could see some situations where I'd take the chance on Criswell. What about Bayo? Have him in a few leagues. Probably starting him, but it's probably like a 3 until I see more. I kind of had expectations that he would maybe take it the next step, but he's had some injuries, and
I think
kind of still waiting on that.
I think he deserves a 3. I'm thinking he could pitch to a 4, but I think the proper ranking is 3.
Yeah, I could see him having a good outing against, really good outing against Detroit, but even in Baltimore gives me a little pause. So I'm gonna go 3 as well. Where do you land on Justin Steele? He was one of the big stories of last year, but he's struggled around some injuries this year. A 5.68 ERA so far for Steele at Milwaukee. At Milwaukee versus Cincinnati. Cubs offense doing those starters no favors lately. What's your number on Justin Steele this week?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, all right. What's done is done. Those numbers are going to be reflected on his permanent record at the end of the year. I still think he's a good pitcher. I think it was our buddy Sporer was commenting that he went to field the ball early this week, and it looked like he took a spill. It's like, no, not again. But he got up and it was okay. Am I still trusting and going 4? You know what? I know this year hasn't been good, but there's not enough data for me to just come off of where I was, so I'm going to stay 4.
Okay, I had a 3, but I'm going to get you down as a 4 here on Steele. I agree that, still a good pitcher, but something's not clicking. Hopefully he's, feeling good and healthy, but I think I need to see a little bit more before I bump him up.
Well, I mean,
back up into the 4-5 range.
The strikeouts are down. He's given up 2.13 home run per 9. And all right, that probably means he's put in a meatball or 2, but it probably means he's, just little bit of, as Ron Chin says, a gust of wind here or there. Home runs are going to come down. If he maintains the skills that he has and the home run comes down, he's much better. He's a high 3s pitcher. Strikeouts back up. He's back to the low 3s.
Well, per Charlie Goldsmith of the Cincinnati Enquirer, Nick Lodolo still on track for Monday. So he's had a groin issue recently after missing the start of the year with back trouble. So, I'm sorry, with calf injury, not a back. But, Lodolo was pitching really well and then had this issue. So I think, home against St. Louis at the Cubs, probably starting him. But as we talked about at the top of the show, this Reds team isn't so hot right now. They got like Jacob Hurtubise leading off against righties lately. It's suddenly that offense is just not so. I think a lot of us expected that offense to be a lot of fun, but it has not been. Lodolo, I think I'm going to give him a 3.
I think the catch with Lodolo is he didn't go in rehab. He threw a couple bullpens.
Yeah.
So how far can he go? So I think a 3 is warranted. I think he's a 4 pitcher. Give him a 3 because I don't know how far he's going to go into these games.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it really, hurts the Reds that Friedel lasted 5 games or whatever. Did not last my trip to the Hall of Fame. He did not survive the trip, but so yeah, they've been really struggling to find a good leadoff option.
To be fair, though, I mean you're down Marte, you're down McLean. They're missing some pieces. The Reds are missing a couple of pieces.
Encarnacion Strand as well.
Yeah.
It just has not been the start I was hoping for. But anyway, Xavier Curry tentatively in line for Monday, but it's at Colorado. I think that kind of just wipes him off the map, right? Plus, he only went 4 1/3 his last time out.
Yeah, anybody on Cleveland, can sneak in with a good effort, but I'm not counting on it in Colorado.
Yeah, that's an unnecessary risk, I'd say. And then opposite Curry, tentatively, is Austin Gomber. He would be versus Cleveland at the Dodgers. Got to be a 0 there, too.
There are some people that are on the Gomber bandwagon again. He has been pushing or shoving. What do the kids say? Pushing?
Shoving?
Yeah, the older kids say pushing. He has been shoving lately, but I'm not.
Yeah, he has. Wow.
Home. A home game. Okay, that's not good. And at the Dodgers, so I'm going to go to 0. But you know what? If I had him, I may not drop him, but I don't have him, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, he's been pitching very well lately.
Yeah, I did not realize just how well he had been pitching, but when you got one started in Coors Field and the others at the Dodgers,
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It feels like a trap. Plus, we already have a term based on Gomber tricking people, into using him for a 2-step and then that really blowing up. So just try not to get Gombered this week. But 8 innings last time out. Wow. He's actually turned in 4 straight quality starts and regularly going 6 to 7. But yeah. At Pitt, home against Texas, at San Diego, at Oakland.
The strikeouts are still fewer than 1 an inning, though.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Nick Nastrini, I think this is going to be our 3rd straight 0 here. I can't see any case for starting Nick Nastrini.
I'm not, in a Nastrini only league. I'm not sure that I would start him. No, I'm with you. And I'm trying. Who are the Cubs now, or the White Sox now short with Nastrini being in there? They keep demoting people in the bullpen, and Brad Keller. Brad Keller was designated. So
okay, and Soroka was moved to the bullpen a while ago.
Right. Yeah, it was Brad Keller. If I'm struggling, if I'm concerned about Brad Keller, I need to find other things to be concerned about.
And Pedro Griffel said that Soroka likely staying in the bullpen after Brad Keller was demoted. So yeah, that looks like probably Nastrini, but not a lot of great options in that bullpen.
Nope.
Or in that organization to step into that starting staff.
Right.
I guess Jared Schuster, he's pitched okay out of the bullpen, but probably not an option to start. Anyway, let's pause briefly. We'll take a quick break here. I'll bring you a word from our sponsor, Prize Picks, and we'll take a brief commercial break before we come back. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states across the country. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Our tech team has made an incredible Prize Picks tool, which makes things very easy to see and based on a number of factors, including our projections, Vegas over-unders, all kinds of stuff. So I would, just clicking on here, I would agree that I'm going to go over on the Miles Michaelis earned run prop for today, 2.5. Michaelis isn't terrible, but against the Cubs, I don't know. I think Michaelis probably gives them more than 2.5 runs. And Cutter Crawford, I'm going to go over strikeouts today. Do you think that's against Milwaukee? Do you think that's a decent one, Todd, or do you think maybe Cutter Crawford?
What's the number?
5.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over, but it's
swing and miss. There's some swing and miss in that Brewers lineup. To me, it's does he pitch 5 innings? And I think he was. It's kind of warm in Boston today. It's warming up. As I said, it's the weather here is kind of like my youth. I barely remember the 70s. But anyway,
well, you get up more eyes on Crawford than me, but I just more number scouting. He has cleared 5 strikeouts in 6 of his last 8 starts, so he's been routinely going over 5. So definitely, I mean, it's not just baseball. We have the NBA props on this page as well. So check it out. Awesome tool that our Ace tech team built up there. RotoWire.com/pod, by the way, for a trial. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the app today and use code ROTOPOD for a first deposit match up to $100. That's promo code ROTOPOD for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Can't thank them enough for their sponsorship of the show. And Todd, let's get back to it. 2-start pitchers for next week. Now, this is an interesting one. Casey Meyers versus Pitt and at Boston. I think he might have been on the list a couple weeks ago. Maybe he got pushed back. I was kind of on the fence and, still not completely sold on Meyers. Liked him coming up and showed some flashes. 1-3 with a 4.57 ERA again versus Pitt at Boston. Need to see more, but he could be on a few lists and where he's still available, and probably give him a 2. Casey Meyers.
Yeah, it's the 34 strikeouts in 45 and a third innings, which has been his story. It's been Matt Manning. Other than Tarek Skubal, the Tigers just can't develop strikeout pitchers. All right. I'm going to go 2 as well. The Red Sox give him a little more strikeout upside. They are fanning, I think, the second most next to the Seattle.
Well, Framber Valdez has kind of been pretty disappointing, honestly. He's spent some time out injured, and then his last time out, you'd think, home against home against the Angels. He was good home against Oakland, but then home against the Angels gives up 8 earned runs, including 3 homers, only 3 Ks. So I kind of had him just outside that ace tier coming in. Still like Framber, but initially I was leaning 3 at Seattle then versus Minnesota. I think I'm going to still give him a 4, though, Framber Valdez.
Yeah, we mentioned the strikeout potential with Seattle. I think that could be a panacea start. I ended up with Valdez in a couple places because he was like the last pitcher in like the tier that I was interested in, and everybody else kind of went zoom. So I ended up with Valdez, and I was okay with it. Well, need to see a lot more over the next 4 months. Yeah, but I'm going to go 4.
Any thoughts on that Seattle team moving Julio Rodriguez down to the 6 hole? I don't know if it's going to stick, but I don't know. To me, given the other issues on offense on that team, it doesn't seem like, I disagree with that as like a motivational play. It just doesn't really make sense to me. But
I think it's a short-term thing to get him going, take the pressure off. That's the narrative. That's what you'll hear the announcers say. Gets a couple of hits, which he probably would have gotten leading off anyway. And suddenly the manager's a genius. Rodriguez goes back up to #1 and crushes. So who knows? But I if there is pressure, I don't know what he's saying, how he's acting. I can see where it might not be a bad move temporarily. Although it's not like the Mariners are beating down the door with other leadoff hitters. Just because Crawford's back now, maybe you put Crawford there. I guess maybe.
Yeah, I just I know they had like Rojas and up there, and I get that maybe sometimes you want to take some pressure off, but it does for me. He's not the issue. I mean, I know that he's not producing, but I don't think. Yeah, I still think he's one of their best hitters, and you build the lineup not based on what they've done, but how you project things, and I still think he projects pretty clearly as one of their best hitters moving forward.
Let's just say if he's still hitting 6 this time next week, I think we got something. I think if it's just a way to get people get it going. Of course, what happens is the team scores 12 runs tonight, and they leave the lineup the same. You know how that goes. Mm-hmm. But I think it's just a temporary kick him in the butt.
Well, Alec Marsh of the Kansas City Royals has pitched pretty darn well. And in fact, 3 starts in May, he has a 2.76 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, 19-5 K to walk, and 16 1/3 innings. He's gone at least 5 innings in all those outings in May. Alec Marsh at Minnesota versus San Diego. Where do you land on Alec Marsh?
I mean, if this was 2 months ago, we wouldn't be talking. But it's now a legit question. I'm not going to go overboard. I think I'm going to land 3, but he's definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, when guys like Alec Marsh are popping up, kind of reminds me of the like 2018 and when they deflated, quote unquote, deflated the balls. I don't know, man. Major League Baseball needs to get some consistency with the characteristics of the ball because I don't know. I'm not trying to put it on Marsh, but when a guy like this is pitching so well, so many teams are struggling offensively. It just lends fuel to the fire of the ball conspiracies. There's just been the flight patterns of the balls have been so all over the place over the last decade. It's kind of frustrating as a fan and as a fantasy player. But anyway, I'm going to give Marsh a 2. What did you say on Marsh?
I think I said a 3. I do like the strikeout to walk ratio.
Okay. I got you down as a 3, and then Cole Reagan's is a 5, right?
Yeah, whatever. Yes, he's a 5. Should I even ask who he's going to? I can look it up, but who he's got matchups?
At Minnesota versus San Diego.
Yeah, he's a 5. I've never not liked Reagan's. I just don't like him as much as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If that's anything. So anyway.
Yeah, he kind of hasn't really surged to the top of the pitching boards, but did have a great outing last time out. Just 1 hit over 6 scoreless with
underlying metrics are great. Underlying metrics are great.
Yeah, the 12 Ks is last time out. By far a season high, but a pretty good sign of hope that maybe his best days this season are still to come. Cole Reagan's. Griffin Canning, 5.05 ERA, is going to face the Yankees. That's at home, then at Seattle. Yeah, with the way Aaron Judge is playing and Soto,
Stanton has hit a couple.
Yeah, Stanton's been hitting it well. Glaber even had a homer this week. I actually traded for Glaber in one league just this week. Didn't love it, but got some early returns on the Glaber trade this week, so I'll take that. Plus, my middle has been just brutal all season. I had Tim Anderson.
Yeah, my middle's brutal. Anyway.
Same. Griffin Canning, I may give a 1. No, maybe he's a 2, but hasn't pitched like somebody you want on your team right now. I still think he's decent, though, so I'll give him a 2.
Yeah, I'm at the home runs scare me in these matchups. He's given up 9 and 51 innings. I'm going to go with a 1. The home runs scare me in this in general, but with the Yankees, these scare me. Yeah, I'm going to go 1.
Yeah, that Angels team is just a disaster, but
yeah,
I still think he's better than a 5.05 ERA. We'll see if it happens this week. Gavin Stone to Citi Field to face the Mets, then versus Colorado. So, good pitching venue to start and to end, and some good matchups. So, tough for me to say here, but the team context is a big mark in his favor. So I'm going to go 3.
I'm going to go 3. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3. Yep.
Okay, I think that seems about right. Trevor Rogers, really has struggled so far. This Marlins team is in rough shape, but he goes to San Diego, then versus Texas. I can't trust the lefty. I was thinking maybe a points league 1, but I don't see any signs of hope really with Trevor Rogers.
I went into the season the same as maybe he is something, and it just hasn't been there. At San Diego, 1. Ugh. It's an iffy one.
Uncle Ted in the chat wanted to know, start, sit, and quit. Reagan's, Marsh, and Lugo. Is he playing like in a KC only league? But I think Marsh is the odd man out there, right? The way Lugo and Reagan's have pitched. And I'm starting Reagan's in any case there. Freddy Peralta's been a little bit of a disappointment lately. I really thought he could be among the very top of the class among starting pitchers, but over his last 6 starts, he has a 5.18 ERA, a 1.30 WHIP. Still missing bats though. He's got 38 Ks over 33 innings in that stretch, but 14 walks, 5 homers. Just not pitching as well as I'd hoped. But versus the Cubs, versus the White Sox, the Chicago 2-step, but at home here for Peralta, I think I'm still going to give him a 5.
Yeah, the skills are still solid. Yeah, everything's still solid. Just pitching a little bit of bad luck. I'm going to go. I'll go 5. I'm trying to see where the bad luck is, though. I don't see it.
I don't know what his issue lately has been. Was he suspended for a few days? Or he was suspended for 1 turn, wasn't he? And then since then, he's just kind of been.
Yeah. Well, the 3.8. You know what? The 3.81 ERA is not terrible. So I think that's kind of where it's not quite as bad as I thought. No, I'm going to go 5, and I do think that the numbers will come down over the course of the season.
Yeah, it seems like it's just mostly been lately. He hasn't been on top of his game, but I still have high hopes and high expectations for Peralta. And on the other end of the spectrum, Tobias Meyers going to be a 0.
That it is
for him.
You should go shouldn't you go by Toby Myers?
Yeah, come on. That'd do us a favor. But Joe Ryan versus KC at Houston. I think he's probably a 5, right?
Houston's one of those teams that's not hitting like we thought they would, although they're still they're a top 10 offense. They're just not a top 3. Yeah, I'm going to trust Ryan enough to go 5. Not a lot of solid 5s this week.
What about Simeon Woods Richardson? Pitching pretty well. Where do you land on him?
Pitching well, but I'm still in the prove it to me stage with Woods Richardson a bit. So, and stretch it out straight. I can only can I go higher than 1? I can only go 1.
Okay, yeah, I think that's right because he's been on a pretty short hook. He's fallen short of 5 innings, 2 of his last 3. Yeah, he's usually in that low 80s kind of pitch count. So yeah, I think a 1 sounds about right for Simeon Woods Richardson. What about Trevor McGill? He's got to face the Dodgers and then Arizona, both at home though. I still can't quit him, and he did pitch okay in his return. Pitched 86 innings or 86 pitches on Monday in his return from the IL. So he'd been out for over a month, but Yeah, seems like his rehab went okay. Struck out 7 over his 5 innings at
And that's
Cleveland.
7 Guardians who don't strike out, so that's impressive.
Yeah, that's true. Dodgers scare me, but a guy that I think should probably be picked up, and I'll probably give him a 2 here.
No, I agree. At Citi Field, let's go with a 2.
That's Tyler with a O, by the way. Okay, then Jose Quintana, 1-4 with a 5.13 ERA versus the Dodgers versus Arizona. Same 2-step for him. Is this a 1? Quintana's a hard guy for me to figure out because he's, turning in good ones and stinkers, and I just generally avoid him because it feels like there are more stinkers than good outings in the hole.
He's not doing the Martin Perez thing where he's pitching the numbers this year either. I can see the 1, but I mean, I'm tempted to say 0. I'm gonna go 0. I don't trust him.
Yeah, he is a hard guy to trust for sure. Next up, Nestor Cortez. The lefty's pitched pretty well. Does have a losing record, but that doesn't really show how well he's pitched. Luis Gil, too. He's not a 2-star pitcher this week, but man, he's pitched brilliantly.
Carefully about him. I'm not with the walk rate that he has. I'm not going to go brilliant. He's missing a ton of bats, which is what we expect. I think Gil's doing what we expected. Just really high strikeouts and high walks. But
brilliant in terms of results, but 29 walks and 55 in the third innings for Gil, but it also has 70 Ks. But Nestor Cortez is the guy who lines up for 2. So it's at the Angels, at San Francisco. I'm not going to give him a 5, but on that team, those matchups, I think probably a 4.
I'm tempted to go 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up as a lower level 5 on my rankings. I'm going to go 4 as well. It may just come down to San Francisco doesn't hit lefties as well as they hit righties or something like that. But I'm going to go 4.
Mitch Spence is the guy we have in for the Oakland A's, although he hasn't even gone 5 in a single appearance this season. Did go 4 2/3 back on May 17th, but that's going to be a 0.
Yeah, and with the A's, who knows who's going to pitch at that time.
That's true. Very tentative. Taijuan Walker, a 5.06 ERA, but he is at San Francisco then versus St. Louis. I'd consider him, although he's another guy that's just really, really hard to trust. But in this environment, this run environment, I'd give Taijuan a 1, I think. 2 because of that team's so darn good. Philly's been just rolling over people.
Yeah, I'm waffling to 1 to 2 myself. St. Louis is just not hitting. All right, I'm going to go 2 out of respect. Yeah, 2.
Well, the Pirates have 2 off days, so no 2-star pitchers for them. And then Michael King for San Diego. He would be versus Miami at KC. I'm going to turn this one over to you. What say you on Michael King?
Kansas City's actually not a pushover, but I don't know that you get much. I mean, you're starting him. I don't know that you might get much better situations here, but he isn't pitching all that well. I'm gonna go 3, and that people may want to. Coming into the season, people would have thought that'd be higher, but I'm gonna go 3.
Okay, I had a 4, but I got you down as a 3 on Michael King, and then Bryce Miller and Luis Castillo for Seattle. They're versus Houston, then versus Houston, then versus the Angels. So 2 starts at home for both Miller and Castillo. First thought here is Castillo 5 and Miller 4, but am I leaning a little too high on those 2?
No, that was my first thought was Miller 4, Castillo 5. But yeah,
is that not what I said?
No, you said it backwards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You said Castillo 5 and Miller 4.
Yeah, Miller starting first.
Memorial Day weekend. Anyway,
I need it. Well, Blake Snell returned with a dud this week, but versus Philly versus the Yankees. Well, tough way to come back there too. Ooh, man, what do you make of Snell at this point? Not a guy I expect to pitch at a Cy Young level, but I certainly expected better than this.
You mean the guy that was so good last year he could purposely throw the ball wherever he wanted, and suddenly can't do it again this year? No, you should give back the damn Cy Young. All right, never mind. I'm only going to go 2. I need to see more from Snell. These are tough matchups.
Yeah,
and
these are really.
He hurts you. I mean, it seems that they leave him out there. It's not like I'm going to go 2, and I'm scared of that.
Me too. He was the guy I also acquired this week in that same deal in which I acquired Gleyber Torres. And I need a pitcher, so I'm hoping Snell can at least be a net positive, over the rest of the season. Lance Lynn at Cincinnati, at Philly. I mentioned I benched him against Baltimore, and he pitched really well. Now I'm going to be tempted to put him in for this 2-step, and he'll probably get blown up because that's just who Lance Lynn is. But he has a 3.68 ERA at Cincinnati, at Philly. Tough parks, though. So
tough home run park. That's the scare.
Yeah, I think I'm only going to give him a 1.
Yeah, I'm as well. I mean, the home run parks are tough for Lance Lynn. 1.
Zach Littell for the Tampa Bay Rays versus Oakland at Baltimore. And I love that versus Oakland. So, I can't really see how I would take him out, but I could only probably go 3 on Zach Littell.
Yeah, and part of that is Baltimore is not hitting righties. So let's ride let's see if it goes. But we're going to go 3.
No 2-star pitchers for Texas Rangers because they have 2 off days. And then Chris Bassett for the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays offense maybe finally getting it together. Gaussman finally had a good start last night. I think Bassett's better than he's pitched so far. And at the White Sox versus Pitt could be a good week to get right for Bassett. I think I'm going to go 4.
Yeah, I don't know if he was talking to you or Jeff last week on the air where kind of we're putting down Toronto and then they scored a bunch of runs. So who do you guys want us to get out of their slump this week? I'm going to go with you 4 and Bassett. He's too good not to return to the solid form.
And then finally Mitchell Parker. It's going to be pushed back. So you go from facing the Mariners to facing Atlanta. So I don't really. I guess I wanted to build in an extra day, but that's kind of a tough break, at least on the schedule lining up for Monday. But then he gets Cleveland. Well, same 2-step for Jake Irvin. Irvin's pitched really well, but hard for me to start him here. I think Parker. I think I'm going to give them both 1s.
I'm actually going to give Parker 0 and Irvin a 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Irvin still has that latent strikeout ability to me. And I know you don't get a lot of strikeouts in these matchups, but I'm still going to go 2.
Yeah, I've been happy having Jake Irvin in a few spots, but this is a week where I just fear that there could be, the regression monster could catch up to Lady Luck, as you like to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's recap our 2-star pitcher grades for next week, the week of May 27th. First up, we got Ryan Nelson a 0, Charlie Morton 4, Max Fried 5, Cole Irvin 2, Cooper Criswell 2, Brian Bayo 3, Justin Steele I say 3, Todd 4, Nick Lodolo 3, Xavier Curry 0, Austin Gomber 0, Nick Nastrini 0, Casey Mize 2, Framber Valdez 4, Alec Marsh I say 2, Todd 3, Cole Reagans 5, Griffin Canning I say 2, Todd 1, Gavin Stone 3, Trevor Rogers 1, Freddy Peralta 5, Tobias Meyers 0, Joe Ryan 5, Simeon Woods Richardson 1, Tyler McGill 2, Jose Quintana I say 1, Todd 0, Nestor Cortez 4, Mitch Spence 0, Taiwan Walker 2, Michael King I say 4, Todd 3, Luis Castillo 5, Bryce Miller 4, Blake Snell 2, Lance Lynn 1, Zach Littell 3, Chris Bassett 4, Mitchell Parker, I say 1, Todd 0, Jake Irvin, I say 1, Todd 2. Well, I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend. Rest up and be safe. Todd, anything else on your mind that you want to mention?
I have a busy Memorial Day weekend because I work so everybody else can have good days, and I'll rest up Monday through Thursday. Now, everybody, check out James's Top 400, RotoWire.com/pod for a free trial. And like I said, enjoy and keep in mind what it's all about, Memorial Day weekend. And we'll check you guys out next week.
Yeah, and actually, if you get a chance, check us out tomorrow on MLB Network Radio. I'll be returning for a one-off and stepping in for Eric Halterman. So looking forward to talking baseball for another hour with you tomorrow, Todd.
Looking forward to it as well. Get the band back together, if you will.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank our sponsor, Prize Picks. Use promo code ROTOPOD for a 100% deposit match, and we will catch you next week on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast.